All aboard, Lego lovers and train enthusiasts. Today, we're not just reviewing a set, we're hopping aboard the Nostalgia Express straight back to 1980, a time when leg warmers were cool, Rubik's Cubes were baffling, and Lego was creating some truly timeless treasures, particularly when it comes to trains. Today, we're going to hop on board this set, 7710 push-along train from 1980. So come along today on our first Lego train journey on the channel. I'm Lord Paul, and this is Lord Paul's Bricks. Hello, and welcome back to the engineering and vintage brick workshop that is Lord Paul's Bricks. So, what's pulling into our station today? This isn't just any old train. This is the adorable push-along steam train that introduced so many to the world of Lego trains back in 1980. It's got that undeniable classic Lego town charm with those bright, inviting colours and a design that is pure, unadulterated fun. So, let's get this review rolling. Before we dive in though, if you really enjoy this trip down the tracks, please give us a like. It really helps the channel keep chugging along. And if you want to be notified when the next vintage set pulls into the station, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Of course though, I always love hearing from you, so feel free to comment and ask questions down below. Did you know that Lego has been producing model trains since 1966? That's a massive 59 years of trains. And let me tell you, there has been some truly iconic train sets through those years. This set was launched in 1980. It includes 412 pieces and 5 minifigures, and we're going to get straight into our detailed review. A little bit of trivia though. In 1980, Lego released 5 different train sets. Could you imagine 5 being released all in 1 year? And there's a couple more of those that we will be doing a review on. When it comes to this set, I actually snagged this set on eBay, 10, 12 years ago. The set itself is in pretty good shape, though a few parts had been swapped over to newer versions, but I've found vintage parts from the time and put them back. And once assembled, it does look original. The original stickers, though, let's just say they were badly weather beaten. So I've had to reproduce them. I'm pretty happy with how authentic they look once they'll be applied to the finished set. I am generally really, really fussy, and I am super fussy when it comes to how I reproduce the stickers. But I think once you see them on the set, I don't think you'll know the difference. The box that this set came in, while original, was, you would call it well loved. The side has lots of tapes and repairs, but it still proudly shows off the important elements of the set. This is the classic larger set box that with the cool flip open front, allowing you to peek inside and see the parts. For those of you in the audience that remember, that was always the best part of going to the toy store. Going to the Lego section and looking at these bigger sets and flipping over the lid and seeing all the parts all laid out, because they always had a top tray with key parts all laid out. And that was a really awesome time. But what I do have for this train is the original instruction booklet. And compared to the box, it's actually in really, really good condition. What I do like about these vintage booklets is the back of the box builds, or the alternative builds you can do with the set. And this set, this booklet, actually has instructions to build an alternative version for the this train set. It isn't just a suggestion, it's a guide to showing you different creative ways to build with this set. And I thought that was a really good addition to the booklet. Towards the back, it shows how you can lay out different track layouts, and it tells you what supplementary sets you would need to build the different layouts. And if you wanted to upgrade your set, there's a little bit here that shows you how you can upgrade your push-along train to either a 4.5 volt motor, which is the motor in a battery box, or you could upgrade it to a 12 volt motor, but that required you to have the contactor rails on the on the track. The back of the booklet gives you a taste of other awesome train sets at the time and other sets that you could expand your set with over time. That one there, if you look at that, that's actually an alternative build of a station 7822, which is going to be our next review. So what's a bustling train without its busy minifigure residents? This set gives us a very respectable 5 minifigures. We've got 2 dedicated railway employees and 3 very excited passengers. First up, our trusty platform attendant. He's the unsung hero, making sure passengers board and alight the train safely, keeping the entire network running like clockwork. He's sporting a classic blue torso with a jacket, tie, a 3-button pattern, matching blue legs, and that iconic red cap. The exact combination of this minifigure appeared in 12 train-related sets between 1980 and 1990. The torso itself was a popular choice. It was used in 38 sets from 1978 through to 2003, and it often signified a person in charge. But what's a train without its trusty engineer? And that's this guy. He has a blue torso with a white print showing a shirt, 6 buttons, 2 pockets, matching blue legs, and a red cap. The minifigure in this combination was used in 14 sets from 1980 until 1985, and the torso on its own was used in a massive 54 sets from 1979 all the way through to 2003. And finally, we get to our passengers. They are absolutely beaming with excitement for their big trip on this classic rail and this classic train. Their bright smiley faces really do say it all. They're outfitted in classic but simple torsos, though I will admit they look a little plain compared to our detailed railway employees. Our one and only lady passenger has a red torso, blue legs, and that classic black ponytail hair. Our first of our 2 other minifigures has a red torso, black legs, and brown hair. And the last minifigure sports a white torso, red legs, and the classic red cap. From the workers to the passengers, though, everyone on this train is clearly having a fantastic day, judging by those classic Lego smiles. Okay, Lego parts prospectors, this is where we dig for some vintage gold. Because the 7710 push-along steam train is from 1980, it's packed with a few seriously cool and in some cases super rare and discontinued parts. Our first unique parts for this set are the doors for the train carriages. These are 1x4x5 train doors in blue, but they have the bottom half of the door is painted in yellow. There are 2 left-hand doors, 2 right-hand doors in this set, and it is the yellow printing that makes them unique. The doors themselves, in various colours, were used in 34 sets from 1980 through to 2019. The other unique part to this set was the sticker sheet that I mentioned before. Like a few train sets of the period, the sticker sheets that came with them didn't just have the usual DB or Deutsche Bahn logo on them, but stickers for other rail operators from other countries. This here is the sticker sheet of my version of 7745 high-speed City Express train. And this shows the different railway company stickers that were available to be able to use on the trains. My 7745 used DB stickers because I was a purist and I wanted to look like it did on the box. And the sticker sheet for this set that we're reviewing today, 7710, had similar alternative stickers for other rail networks. And I thought that was a really nice piece of customization that Lego did on the trains back in the day. We've got another sticker sheet there for the other train set that I had, which was 7735, and that had some different logos on it as well. Our first non-unique piece is not really discontinued, But I thought I'd start with this piece because this piece first came out in the same year as this set, 1980. This is the modified 1x1 brick with headlight stud, or it's actually a recessed stud on one side. This piece has been in a massive 2,760 sets and is still being produced today. And that's definitely a mainstay of the Lego part catalogue. The next piece was also first seen in 1980, and this is the modified 2x4 brick with red wheels and small spoked train wheels. With red wheels, this appeared in only 7 sets from 1980 through to 1985, and obviously they were all trains. This same brick and wheel assembly was also found with black wheels and was in many other trains of the period, and it was in 20 sets from 1980 through to 1987. The base of the locomotive is this 6x16 train base with a cutout, and there is one in this set. The plate has a pair of buffers at each end and also a hole in the end, which is where the coupling assemblies were attached, which I'm going to show you shortly. This plate was used in 10 sets from 1980 until 1991, and it was also made in red for 3 sets. So how about those classic train buffers and coupling elements? For the carriages that don't have this train base, the couplings are attached by these train buffer pieces like this. There is a plate that attaches to the base plate of the carriage and a pair of buffers and a hole which the coupling piece attaches to. They are designed to connect with other 1980s train cars, and their design is different from the coupling systems that are used in modern trains with Lego. The buffer beam itself was used in 81 sets from 1980 all the way through to 2009. The couplings themselves are made up of 2 pieces. The first is the train coupling with pin. This has a pin that looks like a little small Technic pin, and that's what inserts into the buffer beam or to the base plate of the locomotive if you had one. This coupling was used from 1980 through to 1987 in 31 sets. They are an interesting piece because they're quite thin, and if you mishandle them or handle them roughly, they broke really easily. As example on this one, because this one's got one that's been glued up. It's good if you ever come across a basket of Lego and it's got some spares, because they do break. It's always handy to have a couple of spares. But all of that doesn't work unless you've got something that actually attaches the locomotives and the carriages together. And that is where this little round magnet with swivel pins that attaches into the inside of the coupling. And that's how the carriages join together. So the cylindrical magnet piece was used in 140 sets from 1980 through to 2009. But curiously enough, it wasn't actually just used for trains. Sets such as this set, 6975, the Alien Avenger in 1997, set 6958, Android base from 1996, and this Star Wars set, which is 8001 Battle Droid from 2000, they all made use of this magnet piece in some way. The magnets themselves, the coupling system, is actually really good, and the magnets are strong enough to keep probably 5 or 6 carriages together on your train, as long as you don't make the carriages too heavy. So there are 2 types of windows that are used on the train carriages. The first is this 1x2x3 train window frame, and that's been used in 57 sets from 1980, and it's still used today. And the glass for the frame was introduced at the same period, and that is also still used today. The 1x4x3 train window, this was another piece introduced in 1980, but this was only used until 2007, but it was used across 74 different sets. The transparent clear glass from this frame, though, was used from 1980 until 2011 in 32 sets. As you may have noticed, there are a lot of parts in this set that were released in 1980. And I think that's because when you go back and you look at the history of Lego, the fact that they released 5 trains in 1980, there was a lot of new stuff that was released. And I think that's a really, really big year for it. And another piece that was released in that same year is a classic piece that is still sold today, but I wanted to highlight it anyway. And that's the minifigure seat or chair, this piece here. This has been used in over 1,100 sets, and it's still in sets today, but it's no doubt been developed because it was developed 2 years after the minifigure, which means for 2 years, those poor minifigures had nowhere to sit down. So good thing this seat came out. The railway tracks and sleepers that are included with this set make a really nice track circle. The 2x8 track sleeper in old dark grey is this set. These were used in a lot of train sets over the time. There was 2 versions of the plate, one without these little notches underneath and some with the notches underneath. The notches underneath were, if you were running the 12-volt train system, you wanted to run extra wires for signals or lights or things, you could run the wire under the plate and through the groove, and it would sit flat on your table or bench, so you didn't get any wobble with the wire running under it. I thought that was pretty clever. The piece itself, it's like a 2x8 plate, but it has 4 attachment points for the rails. You would use these to attach the rails, and you'd also put one in the center of your rail span for support. So you'd clip the rails together, and that's quite a loud click. And they were really stable, but in this set, we only got some curved sets, some curved rails rather. The outer rail, which is longer, of course, because it's on the outer side of the circle, that had a serrated, like a grippy surface to it, and the inner rail was smooth. The reason for that is that the outer rail got you the traction for your train, and because the wheels on the motor spun the same, you needed the smooth on the inner rail because the other one would slip a little bit and you wouldn't chew up your rubber because the powered train wheels had little rubbers on them. And if you had serrated on inside and outside, the little one would chew through the rubbers too quickly. So there you go. So there's a little bit of engineering trivia for you. The rails were only used in 11 sets from 1980 through to 1985, but you could always get supplementary packs for them, which are just packs of curved or straight rails and sleepers. And usually got about 8 track units, and that's a track unit in each box. Prior to these grey rails, the rail pieces were blue, and they just had standard 2x8 plates for the sleepers. So they were a similar design, but they didn't have the notches on the plates. So when you assembled your track, because they were just sitting on the studs, they kept them flat, they were stable. But if you wanted to pick up and move your track, it just all fell apart. Whereas with these notches, as you can see, the track is actually really stable. So that's why. So the last piece we're going to speak about today is really just an earlier version of what is used today, and that is the 1x1 plate, because that was introduced in 1980. The 1x1 round plate, rather, was introduced in 1980. When they were first introduced, when they were manufactured, they were molded onto a sprue with a pair of them on each sprue, so they would mold 2 at a time. From what I understand, they were made on the sprue because the manufacturing at the time allowed them to be produced. The mold would only allow them to be produced 2 at a time because they couldn't produce such a small piece on its own. So that's why they came out on the sprue. As Lego's manufacturing technology improved, it reduced the need for these small 1x1 round plates to be manufactured on the sprue, and the sprues were mostly disregarded or discarded in the early 90s. If you look at those 1x1 round plates now, they're made in singles, but the injection point for the mold is actually on top of the stud. So check through your inventory. You'll probably find some with a little mold on the side, which would have been on a sprue originally. The later ones which are injected on the top. It's a tiny detail, but a cool piece of Lego history, and I like to find some trivia of Lego bricks every now and again. But enough talking about bits and pieces. I think it's time we started our build. All right, grab your engineering blueprints, and if you don't have those, just the instruction manual, and let's get building. The construction of the 7710 push-along steam train is like a quiet journey through the countryside. But any good train needs a strong locomotive, and we're going to start there. We begin with the train's sturdy chassis, laying down the groundwork for our little engine with these 2x10 red bricks. Then we attach those classic train wheels. Next, we build up the black body of the steam engine, and it's all straightforward brick on brick construction here, with a clear focus on the train's silhouette. You'll see the boiler taking shape and the cab for our engineer. There is a sticker that goes inside the cabin that shows some rudimentary controls and dials, which is one of the stickers that I've had to reproduce. Once the roof is on, we attach the final 2 stickers to each side of the locomotive, and there we have a finished locomotive. Our passengers, though, expect to travel in style, and they will be able to do so once we've built the carriages. The 2 passenger carriages are identical, and the building of these starts with a standard 6x16 black plate, and we build up the underside first. Once the wheels are attached, we can flip it over and build up the cabin. Given that both of these carriages are identical, I'm only going to step through the build of the first one for you today. Once the sides are built up and the windows installed, we finish with the 1x8 blue tiles before we assemble the roof assembly. These tiles allow for the roof to be easily removed for play. And just like that, our 1980 push-along steam train is ready to roll. It's a wonderfully quick and enjoyable build, and perfect for getting straight into the play. I've assembled a small section of the track to show off the completed train, but now we need to complete the platform. This is a simple part of the build with some steps and a basic brick built frame underneath and some seating at the top. So that's the build, and now it's time for a really good look at this finished set. It's a compact but mighty little engine. We've got the iconic black steam engine with red accents, complete with its boiler and cabin and highly skilled engineer driver. The coolest part though, it's a push-along train, meaning no hunting down batteries, just pure kid-powered fun. Everybody seems really happy to be finally on board the train though. We hope that it's running to Japanese rail efficiency. If you've ever caught a train in Japan, you know what I mean. It is an interesting colour scheme though, but for a Lego play and 1980, I think it works okay. There may have been a train operator in 1980 that used this colour scheme somewhere in Europe, but if somebody does know of a train operator that used this colour scheme, let me know in the comments below. After our nostalgic ride, how well does the Lego 7710 push-along steam train hold up today? Let's put it on the tracks, break it down with my 4 key criteria for the review. A reminder though that my reviews are in the context of when the set was first released, which in this case was 1980. That's 45 years ago. For part selection, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It has the unique printing on the doors, the sticker sheet with various logos to choose from for your train, and I think that was a really nice inclusion. I think the locomotive could maybe have had a little bit more colour, but the red detailing and the sticker does break up what is quite a lot of black. It's a medium-sized set, so the total part count isn't huge, but every part serves a purpose in creating that iconic steam train look, and it's efficient and effective. This set has awesome playability, and for me, it is 4 out of 5. It's simple, robust, and immediately ready for action. Kids love trains, and the push-along feature means no worries about the batteries or complex electronics. Just grab and go. It does really spark endless imaginative journeys. Having both of the carriages identical, I felt was a bit of a cop-out for this set and could have increased playability a lot if the second carriage was maybe a dining car or something else. Maybe a third carriage, which was like a luggage compartment or a caboose or something. Again, piece count. It all comes back to piece count, but just changing that second carriage into maybe dining car, I couldn't imagine that will change the piece count too much. That, though, doesn't negate the fact that kids love trains, and the inclusion of the track makes a good play once it's built. So for the minifigures, I'll give this a 4 out of 5. The number of figures in this set, 5, is great, but the 3 passengers with no printing on any of them on the torsos, I think makes them a bit dull. By 1980, there were plenty of printed torsos in Lego's palette, and I think some of those could have been added into this set. But finally, building enjoyment, and for me, it's a 3.5 out of 5. It lost a point with what I've mentioned about the 2 carriages being the same. I think that was a real cop-out. There are no tricky techniques, just straightforward assembly that quickly brings the train to life. It's perfect for younger builders and a delightful dose of nostalgia for older fans like me. You get the immediate gratification of seeing a set complete, a playable train come together. So overall, it's a 15.5 out of 20. It's not a bad score, and I'm probably being a bit harsh on what is a pretty good set. A lot of my reviews tend to finish up at 15.5 out of 20. Funny that. So there you have it. This Lego 7710 push-along steam train from 1980 is truly charming, and it is an iconic little set. It's a wonderful entry point into the world of Lego trains, and I think it perfectly captures the spirit of your early Lego town. Whether you're a vintage Lego collector, train enthusiast, or just looking for a simple, fun build that evokes pure joy, the 7710 Steam Long Train is a fantastic choice. I've got that fantastic look, amazing playability, and those simple yet effective parts, and they make it a timeless gen. These Lego trains allow for a huge amount of play. When the first Lego trains came out in 1966, they were either push-along or with a 4.5 volt motor, which was attached to a battery box that was disguised as a train carriage. The first 12 volt trains came out in 1969, and they had a conductor rail between the 2 main rails with a contact underneath the motor. This allowed for more control of the train through the amount of power that you could put into the tracks. The way this locomotive is designed, as I mentioned before, you could have a 4.5 volt motor or a 12 volt motor, and they were available as kits at the time, and this is a kit for a 12 volt motor. You could also add more complex track layouts and other elements like loading platforms, different carriages, stations and depots, and just keep going. You could just keep adding, as I was doing in the 1980s, and I look forward to showing you all those sets as long as 1985 is still vintage enough for you all. I really do have a treasure trove of Lego vintage trains and train-related sets that I still want to get to and review. So if you want to know when they pull into the station, remember to subscribe and set your notifications. There are depots, stations, many other carriages to look at, and I know they're all going to be a lot of fun. So, did you have this little set in 1980 chugging around your Lego town? Do you have it now chugging around your Lego town? What's your favourite classic Lego train? And I can't go past 7745. Look it up. It's a great train, Intercity Express. But let me know in the comments below what train was your favourite. And remember, like this video, subscribe for more awesome Lego reviews. Hit that notification bell and you won't miss out on anything. Until next time though, keep on building, keep those trains rolling. I'm Lord Paul and this is Lord Paul's Bricks, and bye for now.